So first of all, I'm super happy to be here. Thank you for everybody to being here in this weather, like really cold, and it's early still for a Saturday, but I'm really happy. It's wonderful to see so many leaders. I was gonna say future leaders, but no, you're already a leader because you are here. So I'm so excited. And then my name is Jorge Estefan, and Kaylee Ortiz we are the instructors for LLI in Skagit Valley College. And today we're gonna talk about how to build a strong team and how to plan a project that makes an impact. So I'm going to start the presentation. So let me see. So I have a quote for you. It's leadership. Every moment is an organized opportunity. Every person a potential activist, and every minute a chance to change the world. Y esto lo dijo Dolores Huerta. So Dolores Huerta shared this. And then also I have another one that I think applies to this day and this presentation is Cesar Chavez once said, "We cannot seek achievement for ourselves and forget about progress and prosperity for our community. This is the power of teamwork in leadership." So we're gonna talk about team building and planning. So that was a good one from Cesar Chavez. So
Woo, good one.
thank you for your support. So Kaylee, if you wanna continue.
Jump in, and an essential leadership question that we're going to have y'all focus on is how do you engage in a project in a way that honors and growth of a team? Where do you begin? So today we're exploring the critical elements of team formation and project planning. As Jorge mentioned, Dolores Bothell once said, every moment is an organizing opportunity, every person and potential activist, every minute and a chance to change the world. And this quote reminds us that the effective collaboration, it's not just about tasks and deadlines, it's also about the people that are involved. So to truly harness the potential of everyone as a team, we have to engage in a way that honors the dream and growth of each member. And this leads us to the essential question that I'm asking now. How do we engage in a project that honors the dreams and growth of a team? And when we consider this question, we really get to uncover strategies that will drive the project to success, but also ensure that everyone is being supported and informed, including an environment for everyone.
So how does a leader know what people value and what? Really simple. They ask, they really listen. So this is really important, and it's an exercise that I want you to do. Really listen, active listening. So when I'm a part of a group that is not native, I'm usually quiet and spend a great amount of time listening and watching. I want to know what other people think before I offer my opinion. Really listen is what I do the first. John Eaglehawk, President the Native American Right Fund. But this is an exercise for me. I'm a talker, but really when you're gonna understand problems and start thinking about how to create solution is when you start listening more than talking. So that's why I want to share that with you guys. So now Kelly is gonna continue.
By beginning to define who our team is and understanding that each of us has our own diverse backgrounds and strengths. And Skagit's team might already know we did some strength finders, and so we're learning on focusing on our assets rather than those deficit skills. So the initial forming is who we are as a team and clarifying those larger purposes. Where are you here, and what do you care about? Next, we're going to ask you to do some community agreements. So make sure you list each person and your member, connecting with them, being their contact us, way of communication, hopes and desires. And then this will also include scheduling ongoing meetings, specifically specifying that and defining needed roles. And a lot of this might be outside of the classroom as well, or if we give you that time that you use, and just making sure that we're honoring everyone's time and schedules. And then team maintenance, this is going to be specified check-in times, what's working well, what can be better, what's new commitment can we make it.
So the initial forming. First, we're gonna create a community contract. What is a community contract or a community agreement? Is a set of shared guidelines or rules created by a group, ensure respectful, inclusive, and protective interaction. It helps to set expectations for behavior and foster a safe, supporting environment for everybody involved. So what it means, all these words, is like to create a community contract is you agree the rules that how are you gonna behave when you are in your project. So what are the rules, what is important for you? And a lot of those as being respectful, listen to the others, be inclusive, be open-minded, and have productive interactions, and don't be stubborn. Try to understand other points of view. So that's really important. So then team values, what is important, like in the presentation said, they are the things that our team cares about. What is what you care about? That way you can define and find a project that really gets into your heart or the things that you care about. We will know our team is successful when, so you have to have like outcomes or things that you want to achieve doing this. So it's like what do you envision to be the impact of this project? So what do you think that it's gonna be? How can you gonna make sure that the sorry the present the sorry I just space out. So your project is successful or not, and then team member name. So who is gonna participate on this project? Let's do the next one. So this is a team roster. So these are just tools for you to use. That way you get organized. And then, so first thing that you have to do is what is the name of your team, and then who is part of your team, and then have the contacts of them, because the most important thing when you are doing a project or working with somebody is communication. And how are you going to communicate if you don't have their contact information? So let's move on. And then go ahead, Kelly.
These are just some examples of the community agreements that we have. So we agree to hold each other to these community agreements, which would be an example is be open to joy, laughter, and fun. Don't take yourself too seriously. Slow down and be present. Meet weekly. Communicate. Email or text if you will be absent from meetings. Do what you say and what you will and what you'll do. Follow through commitments. Stay curious. Challenge yourself. Experience the opportunity and mistake. Accept the lack of closure and discomfort. It's okay to say I don't know. Actively listen without judgment or perceived ideas. You only learn when you listen. Acknowledge others' lived experiences and make room for other voices. Assume positive intent. Take responsibility for the impact. Take the learning. Read the story. So what we're trying to get out of these community agreements is something that your whole group can agree to. We had our team kind of practice this as well. And at first, the easiest thing we just said is what are key important things to you and what do you find like most valuable when you are in a place that you feel comfortable enough to share. So when you set those and you agree to those, that's where some of these community norms and agreements come. So we encourage you to like first maybe just share out loud and then find some of those commonalities, and then we can go down and actually be concise and make those community agreements and agree to those.
So I would add, like, have a lot of empathy. So, and then, so I'm gonna talk about like this is the maintenance or how can you meet an evaluation, and this is important. Why do we want to evaluate our meetings? It's like important because then we get feedback, and then also it's important for improvement for the next meeting, and also for accountability, and have like a really we're really focused on engaging. And so it's really important that after you have your meeting, you evaluate it and say, okay, this worked, it didn't work. What can we do better next time? And that's what it's all about. This form. And okay.
And wanted to go into this model, which outlines the structured project process. Um, with phase one being build the team as a foundation for success. So phase one, it's critical and it's ongoing process that really establishes the core team, the agreements, and the working structures. We want to emphasize without a solid team foundation, the later phases like scope, diagnosis, mobilize, and evaluate, they will struggle with alignment and engagement and execution. So for phase one, it consists of four key components, which are listed here. Initial forming, which is define who is on the team and ensure clarity of the roles, clarify the larger purposes, such as why is the project important and what do project members care about. Phase two is the team charter and community agreements, list team members with contact details. As we mentioned, this is important. Schedule those ongoing meetings to maintain the momentum and clearly define the needed roles and responsibilities. Three would be team maintenance. Again, as we mentioned, establishing check-in times to assess progress, identify what's working well and what needs improvement, and make those commitments for future actions. And four is closure, which is determine how the project will end or transition, ensure an honorable closure by acknowledging contributions and next steps. So how does phase one support the rest of the process? Phase two is scope. A well-formed team can better articulate the campaign's driving question. Phase three is diagnose. So a stronger foundation agreement, which is phase one, it can really help analyze the system effectively. In phase four, which is mobilize, mobilization is easier when there's roles, goals, and relationships, and they're well established. Phase five, which is evaluate. A structured team really ensures a thorough evaluation and potential future efforts. So the big takeaway that we want you all to leave with is that phase one, it's not just a starting point. It's an ongoing effort to sustain alignment, trust, and effectiveness throughout the entire project. And then prioritizing team formation, agreements, and maintenance, it will just ensure that you have a much smoother execution of all the subsequent phases. And then as here, we mentioned some of those leadership skills as well, which is engage stakeholders, seek underrepresented voices, inquire, identify existing outcomes, engage stakeholders, identity of action, explore potential adaptive solutions, use balcony view to understand. So these are kind of where those skills are coming from. But again, we want you to align them with your agreements as well. What are some other takeaways that you want when you're building your foundation for your team? I did go a little bit into these ones, but that project process, which speaks to it, engage the stakeholders, multiple perspectives and relationships. We want to ensure that we're seeking talking to already doing that conversation who has it. We want to be very conscientious. And again, like Jorge has mentioned, making sure that we have that empathy and we are respecting others and being inclusive. We want to ask those questions and then identify those existing outcomes. Is it equitable? Is it inequitable? What are our desired or undesired wants? And is it intentional and unintentional? And phase three, again, is really about engaging the stakeholders, identifying the fashion, exploring potential adaptive solutions, using that balcony view to understand existing culture and normal law, and analyze stakeholders and source of the authority, influence, and the status quo.
Perfect. So team name. So this is a task manager tool, like this tool. We can share this. And this, what is this is important to have a task management tool like this, is to organize and organization and clarity, so you can define it here, the task, what are you gonna do, and also you have the timeline, like when are you, like when you start the project, when the due date, so the deadline, and then the completion of the project, if you did what you said that you were gonna do, who was responsible, and the notes. So that's gonna help you to improve productivity, so that your team, that your meetings and the things that you're gonna do are productive and already know what you're gonna do during the project. A lot of helps with the collaboration, who's gonna be responsible for what, and the communication. It's gonna help you with your time management, because you have deadlines and then you can track them. So this is really important that you track those. Like, it's not just do it the first time and leave it there. It's like this, you have to look at it. And transparency and accountability, again, who's responsible for what. And based on this, you can adjust it or adapt depending on how the project is going. So this is really important and helpful when you are doing a project. So a team meeting. So it's really important. Like, it seems like, oh yeah, we're just gonna have a meeting. Please use this agenda. Like, it helps you a lot, because then when you go to the meeting, you know what you're talking about. Like, who is gonna do what? So meeting, who is gonna call the meeting? What is the meeting about? And then who is gonna facilitate the meeting? Who is gonna take the notes? And who is gonna keep the time, because you have to, in your project, you have to dedicate 40 hours to the project in your team, not individually, not by team. So, but you have to track that. So who was there, and so that way you can be accountable, and then so you can talk to your classmates or your teammates about the things that, if they didn't come to the meeting, why they didn't come, and then, as I told you, what are you gonna talk about and who's gonna do what. And then time and location is really important. Sometimes we assume things, but please be really intentional. So meeting notes. Why do you think meeting notes are really important? Because they provide a clear record of what you talk about or go discuss. This made an action assignment during a meeting. So if you decide to do something, who's gonna do it? And it helps to keep everyone on the same page, ensuring, again, accountability, and serve as a reference for the future. So that's when your team is, who's gonna call the team, type of the meeting, facilitating note. That's what I was talking about with you. Is like, please do this, because that way you can track everything that you have done, who's responsible for that, next steps or actions. So I think this keeps you really organized, and it's gonna be easier for you to do your project. Okay.
So this is a time and attendance log, and this is an example of a tool that can be helpful for managing team participation, accountability, and workload tracking. For starters, it can track participation and commitment. So as you can see, you can record the activities each member engages in, ensuring that the work is fairly distributed. It can also help monitor attendance for key meetings, training sessions, or project groups. It again ensures accountability, so it helps identify who is consistently contributing and who may need additional support or engagement, and allows for leaders to recognize and appreciate effort transparently. It's also a good way to measure time investments. Again, we're keeping track of 40 hours as a team. So tracking total hours spent by each member on different activities is helpful to ensure, like, am I spending too much time on this? Do we just need to make a decision and move on? Are we not spending enough time? And it's just helpful for that. And it's a supportive project reporting and reflection. So you can use this log as documentation for progress reports, for reviewing the end of the project when you are making a presentation, just to go back and have those notes as well. And overall, it helps align with the team maintenance. So the team charter and community agreements, by defining those roles and expectation, it holds us accountable to those. And ensure regular team maintenance check-in by reviewing engagement and participation data. So again, this aligns with the foundation of phase one. Is everyone participating? Is everyone doing what they're asked? Is everyone fulfilling those roles that we agreed to? And we just want to end our presentation with this quote by Paulo Freire. If I am not in the world simply to adapt it, but rather transform it, and if it's not possible to change the world without a certain dream or vision for it, I must make use of every possibility there is, not only to speak about my utopia, but also to engage in practices consistent with it. So we end with this quote by Paulo Freire, who's a very known author. And we tell you to just think about the importance of active engagement and vision in the pursuit of social change. Paulo Freire is someone that suggests that we shouldn't just passively accept the world as it is. Instead, we should strive to transform it. And we're hopeful that when you do create these visions and dreams, and you practice making these and being collective engaged students, that you will see that you are also leaders and you will learn these skills and can totally transform your life.
I just want to say you guys hit the nail with the quotes this morning.
Oh, thank you. So
Thank you.
So thank you so much for your time, and we can send this presentation and also all the forms and for you to use them. Like, honestly, if you don't want to use those ones, find something that works for you. Not saying that you have to use those, but honestly, that helps a lot when you have a project and then to get organized and to have those tools. So thank you, Kaylee. Great job, partner. You're here. I don't know somewhere. Well, and thank you and have a good day. And let's listen to the other presentations. Bye-bye.